So regarding what has been happening in Niger, the coup and then the intervention of ECOWAS and the African Union. Now there are some questions that need to be asked. It's not about them, you know, saying that democracy has to be restored in Niger. Now, they've not asked some certain questions, and since they've not asked those questions, I would like to ask those questions myself. The first question I want to ask is why impose a government on the people of Niger? Why impose a government on the people of Niger? Have the ECOWAS and AU, both of them, have they asked Nigerians what they really want? Now, this is not about you. It's about the people. It's about the citizens of Niger Republic. It's not about you, because Niger is a part of West Africa and Niger is an African country, and then you think that because um, it's a small country that you'd force the people to do what they don't want to do, or you'd force the people to have the government that they want to have. So have you asked them what they really want? Have you asked the Nigerians what they really want? Do they want democracy or do they want military rule? The second question, of course, is that the people of Nigeria cry out to the international community for intervention. The people of Niger Republic, did they cry out to the world for intervention? Because if they didn't cry out, then I don't see the reason why we we would bother ourselves so much with what is going on there. As to what I'm talking about is forcing them to take a government that they had rejected. Now, when there was a coup, usually when there is a coup in a country, right, the people get scared because when the military boys take over, they usually are dictatorial. They are usually brutal. See, but you could see, the different videos I watched, you could see the people jubilating. They took to the streets to celebrate the coup, meaning that they were tired of the government that they had. And I look at when the new leader came back from Russia, when they had gone to meet with the Russian president, thousands of Nigerians, came out on the street to welcome him back to Niger, meaning that they were happy that the government that they had before was no longer the government that they had. See, they were happy that the ousted government was no longer holding waters. Now, the very third one is the very third question I'd like to ask is where was the ECOWAS and even African Union when Nigerians were going through what they were going through? Where were they? Whatever made the military boys to take over, whatever made them to, you know, topple the government that they had would have been based on, bad leadership, bad governance. Because there is no country in the world that practices democracy that would have coup take place if the president or prime minister or monarch or whatever they are practicing is doing the right thing. From the go check, consult history from the time from the just look at from the country, the first country that practiced coup that toppled the government. Go and check. There is never a time that the military boys would, topple a government where they practice coup, and then you check the government was actually doing the right thing. No, it is usually bad governance, bad decisions that will make them take over. So, where was the African Union and where was ECOWAS when the people were going through what they were going through? That at some point they got tired of the president that they had. The next question I'd like to ask is, you know, why do we always like imposition? Why do we like imposing our thoughts? Why do we like we impose our ideas, our ideology on people, especially here in Africa? Why do we like to do that? Because if you look at it, I'm not supporting coup. I'm not supporting what has happened in Niger. I've never visited Niger Republic. I'm not a Nigerian. But the people know why they did what they do, what they did rather. And then they know why they do what they do as well. They know why they support the military guys that have taken over. But you know, when we look at it, in most democratic societies, you still find people, getting arrested, getting imprisoned. There is no free speech, just as it is in when the military guys are in charge. In democracy, when you're supposed to have free speech, you get arrested for being honest. You get arrested for being outspoken. You get arrested for saying your mind. So sometimes you discover that there's really no difference between democracy and military rule. There's really no difference, because you speak against the government, you get arrested. Sometimes the person's loved ones even get roped in. See, in most democratic societies, there's no free speech. It's been either in some societies, democratic societies, it's either free speech has been drastically reduced, or it doesn't even exist at all. It doesn't exist at all. So you find out that a lot of times the lawmakers are also the lawbreakers. They are the ones in democracy. They are the ones that will say, "Oh, don't do this," and they will still be the ones to do that which they had asked the people not to do. So I think what African Union and ECOWAS should actually think about or come together to agree or decide on is what the people really want. The people of Niger, what do they want? You don't enforce your ideology on them. You don't force them. Okay, the U.S. and France are both in support of invading Niger Republic by ECOWAS. Now they don't have anything to lose. These two countries that are supporting the war are not African countries. The US is not happy that they've lost control of Africa. They lost it to Russia and China. So theirs is a case of, if I can't have you, then no one can. So they are not happy about it. France is also not happy because a lot of the countries that pledged allegiance to them in Africa are no more pledging allegiance to them. In fact, the other day, I think it was Mali. Mali denounced French as their first language, as the number one language. And so the French people are not happy about it. So theirs is as well, if I can't have you, then no one can. But I don't know why we in Africa we like running to non-African nations for help. We like running to the West for help. Why can't we do our things ourselves? Why can't we call ourselves to other? Why can't we organize ourselves and develop Africa? We keep killing ourselves. We keep hating each other. We keep attacking each other. And then, as little as West Africa is, look at the countries that are teaming up, the Burkina Faso, Mali, and all of that teaming up, saying they're going to fight Nigeria. And then the Nigerian government is saying, "Oh, we are going to be attacking them and all." Why do we need that? The world has enough hate as it is. What we need is love. We don't need war. So it's about you finding out what the people want. If they say that they want the military guys to continue, so be it. You leave them, you let them be. If it's something that they would live to enjoy, good for them. If it's something that they would live to regret, good for them as well. So I think that the AU is being too quick in taking a decision that could be disastrous. I think the African Union is being too quick in taking a decision that will be disastrous. They are allowing the US and the France and France to dictate for them what would happen. Who dictates for US what they should do? Who dictates for France what they should do? Why do these countries have to come to Africa to tell us what to do? Why do we have to pay so much attention to them? When we're having elections, they come to Africa as election observers. As what? Are they our leaders? Can't we do things without them? Must we do things based on their guidelines? I think it's time that, African leaders, got up and then, you know, I think it's time for us to realize that we we are not babies. They don't have to spoon feed us all the time. They don't have to spoon feed us all the time. So enough of this um, intervention, enough of this interacting with the outside world, having them tell us what to do. You hear of African countries, African presidents being summoned all the time. They're being summoned by one international non-African body or one president of an of a non-African country. This has to stop. This has to stop. So we need leaders who know what they are doing. We need leaders who will stand up for their people. We need leaders, and thank God that in recent times, especially most recent times, Africans are beginning to wake up. They're beginning to find out and know, of course, what they really want. And now they are saying, we don't want this, we don't want that. I'm glad, I'm happy. I'm happy that we still have leaders with sterling qualities in Africa. I'm glad that we still have leaders who know right from wrong. And I'm glad that we have people in Africa who know what they really want. So I think the AU and the African and the AU and the ECOWAS should allow Africans be. You can only, give them an advice. You can only give them a guidance, but you don't have to force them to do what you want them to be. So that's my thoughts. That's my honest opinion. Thank you very much.